Good morning, everyone. I am back from my trip where I went to Portugal, then Spain, and then Egypt. I was just trying to upload this really cool thumbnail, and unfortunately, I wasn't able to do it. I guess the file was too big or something like that. But I am really excited to share parts of that trip with you guys. I just don't know if I'm going to be able to, the best way to do that. So, uh, and of course, we're going to talk about finance and budget. And I've missed you guys a lot. Definitely the timing did not work out as I was traveling to go live. I am still planning on going live on Thanksgiving with my mom. We do that every Thanksgiving. That also might work a little differently this year. I think we might not be able to go live until almost 8 or 9 p.m. I work from 10:30 to 6:30, which means I won't even be home till 7:30, and I'm going to not hear the end of it if I don't um like eat dinner and spend some time with my family before I invite you guys in to join in on that. So we'll get that going. To the 6 of you that are in here, please remember to like the video. Okay, so I'm really good, Michael. I am just getting back from a really long trip. Today will be my first day. It's not only my first day back on YouTube going live every Sunday at 11 a.m., but it's also my first day back to work. And I don't know if you guys can hear, but I'm a little bit under the weather. Thankfully, it is not COVID. I've been sick since about last Saturday or Sunday morning. And then just doing a lot of travel with that. So trying to kick that before I see my mom who misses me. Okay, since this is a finance and budget channel, I have to talk about Mint Mobile. This isn't sponsored, but I do have my affiliate link now down below because I really like. Carrie, I want to say something to you in a second also. Um, so I switched my cell phone provider. I had been with AT&T Wireless since I want to say 20 years or longer. And I've had the same phone number, all that fun stuff. And I switched to Mint Mobile. Some of you guys had suggested that to me in the past. I haven't tried it where my mom lives. And my mom lives in a trailer park and her trailer is really old. So it's made out of metal. And she's always like, it's a tin can. So you don't get great reception there. But how Mint Mobile works is they're on the T-Mobile network. So it should work fine at my mom's. My old cell phone bill was $71 a month, and now with Mint Mobile, it's going to be $30 a month. And they had an introductory offer where it was only $15 for the first 3 months. And I used Rakuten first, and they were giving you $5 back for signing up with Mint Mobile. So that made my cell phone bill really cheap. And before I did this switch, I had called AT&T to find out how international roaming was going to work. Hi, David and Marcy. Thank you. So I had called AT&T before I switched to Mint Mobile, and I was like, how do the international charges work when I'm traveling? And they said, oh, well, it'll be $10 a day. This was AT&T. It'll be $10 a day, and it maxes out at $100 per billing cycle. That's important. My billing cycle with AT&T was going to end on November 8th, which was pretty much exactly in the middle of my trip. So I think I did the math and it would have been $160 to use AT&T just for the international roaming charges. And $10 a day I don't think is bad for international. But before I switched to Mint Mobile, I checked to see what their options were. And Mint Mobile worked perfect internationally. And even though I spent time in Portugal, Spain, and Egypt, I landed in London Heathrow Airport, which is in London. I landed in Qatar. And we had to change a lot of planes. So while we were in those airports, I was also using international data there. and I only spent $50, and I actually have like $6.17 left on Mint Mobile, and my phone worked perfectly overseas. I was able to text. I was on Wi-Fi a lot, so I think the roaming charges don't kick in when you're on Wi-Fi, but everything worked seamlessly with Mint Mobile. So I at least like them enough to suggest that if you guys are paying more than $30 a month for your cell phone bill, you might want to check them out and see if you like them. I have the same exact cell phone number that I have for the past 20 years. I will say that other people have said it only takes like 10 minutes to do the switch. For whatever reason, it took me like 2 hours to do the switch. So it was a little bit annoying when I first made the switch. But now I'm going to be saving $41 a month. And so I'm really happy with Mint Mobile. So that's my endorsement from them. Okay. The purpose of my trip was to go, well, to travel with my friends, but also to see Madonna. Uh-oh, I'm trying to back up so you guys can see my shirt. I'm stuck on something. Okay, so this is part of like the merchandise from her, like the official concert. Let's see on the back. It's got all like the tour dates on it. She's been making music for 4 decades. We had amazing seats. I let my very, very good friend. So we saw Madonna in Portugal. We were supposed to go from Portugal to Egypt, but then everybody kind of got nervous about going to Egypt because it is pretty close to Israel. So understandable. However, so I went with 5 people total, including myself, and 2 of the people, so everybody as a group decided to go to Spain for the most part instead. But me and my 2 best guy friends, we still ended up going to Egypt for just really 1 day because we had booked our flights so far in advance that we had a really good deal on flying business class home. And I did not realize, like, I'm old. Mom, I did not. Oh, I'll tell you in a second, Mom. I did not realize how I did bring you a pen. My friends are gonna think this is funny. I did not buy anybody any gifts. I bought myself this t-shirt. But one, it's like tricky to pack everything back. And I had like, this is more items than I've ever traveled with. And I don't normally travel internationally. This is the 3rd time I've ever technically left the country. And one of those times was to Mexico City when I visited the same friend that I went on this trip with, because he was living there for like a year. But Mexico is so close to the US, especially to Los Angeles, that I almost don't even count that as like an actual trip. But anyway, did not bring home many souvenirs. But Mom, I did give you a pen. And it does not really signify anything, but you do have one. And then I think I'm going to give you, if you want them, I got some pajamas on the flight home. So we went to Egypt so that we could keep our business class tickets home. If we would have flown out from Spain, which is what the 2 girls did that we were traveling with, we like basically we would have had to pay like $4,000, which would have been like $2,000 to $3,000 more than what we originally paid. And that would have been for an economy ticket, like the lowest price ticket home. And I will tell you, what my friends told me about traveling was, who cares if you fly economy on the way there, but you're gonna be tired at the end of the trip and you're gonna want to fly business class on the way home. So I trusted them, and I had really booked all my travel on the same schedule with the guys. So we did still go to Egypt for 1 day, mostly so that we could keep our good and less expensive airline tickets back home. But on our trip home, we pretty much traveled for about 36 hours back. So I think our flight from Cairo in Egypt to Doha in Qatar was 3 hours. Then we had like an 8-hour layover where there was like a thunderstorm. And so we weren't sure if our trip was going to like be delayed or not because of the thunderstorm. It wasn't, but there was an 8-hour layover at the Doha airport. Um, we flew for 15 hours from Doha to JFK airport, and then 6 hours from JFK back to Los Angeles. So, with the layovers and the time in between flights, it was pretty much 36 hours nonstop traveling back. And no, I am not back on LA time right now. I was so tired, because like even though we have business class seats so you can lay back, um, it's still like that 15-hour flight was long. And then the other flight back from JFK was also 6 hours. I got to fly back first class, and my two friends were in business class because my friend has some sort of thing where he gets free upgrades, but they were only able to upgrade one ticket, and that ticket was mine. And guys, you guys know I also manage a movie theater. So Greta Gerwig, like from Barbie, like she was in the first class section that I was in. I didn't talk to her or anything, but it was still cool that like she was in that section. And I saw her, and that was really cool. So, but yeah, I got back on Friday, and I basically like did a little bit of unpacking and then slept. And then yesterday I was supposed to try and get back on like LA time, but I wasn't quite successful at that. I went to bed at like 7 or 7:30 our time, and then woke up like crazy early this morning. And now I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to make it through my shift tonight? But I guess we'll figure that out. Okay. Living authentically with Carrie. I have seen your messages. I don't have room in my house for a roommate, but I will do this. Um, one of a really great way to save money is if you, and Carrie, this isn't to you, this is to other people that might be watching, is to house hack your wherever you live, be that renting out a spare bedroom, be that renting out a living room. Carrie is currently looking for a place to stay. They have 2 cats. I don't personally know them, but I know that they need some help. So if anybody is looking for a roommate, look me up on Instagram or email me, and I'll try and like get you guys in touch. Ultimately, Carrie wants to go back to Northern America, not Northern America, Northern California. They're still in Southern California right now. And so, yeah. Okay. Let's see here. Well, this is wonderful. Wonderful. Kitty the Big Whale says, you can afford trips. You look like a low income front desk girl. So I'm going to take that as a compliment. I am going to always encourage my viewers to live below their means. I don't make a whole lot of money, but I do invest as much as I possibly can. I own my own home. I have 37 more payments until I actually own the house from the bank. So that is 3 years and 1 month. I don't travel often. The last time that I traveled internationally was to India, and I looked that up, and that was in 2011. So I don't take a lot of like big expensive trips. Um Thank you, Bella. Yeah, and I mean I don't ever want to be the kind of person that, well, no, that's not true. I like shoes. I do like shoes, you guys. Like I would upgrade my life a little bit if I had a crazy amount of wealth. I'm also credit card churning for points and miles in order to be able to travel for free. I want to travel on the credit card's dime. I don't carry, I was going to say that I don't carry balances on my credit cards, which for the most part is true. However, you guys know that I had to spend $4,000 to fix my car right before this trip. And I just did the math, and I think I'm just barely going to be able to squeak by and pay everything off. Normally, I make my oh, Bella, we will talk about that in 1 second. Um, Normally, I like to pay like my mortgage payment. I will normally make the January mortgage payment on December 1st. Like literally, when it's December 1st, I would normally make the January 1st payment. I'm not going to be able to do that this time. I'm going to have to wait until I get like my last paycheck in December in order to make my January mortgage payment. I, of course, do have, if I really needed the money, Mom, I am okay. I'm just addressing this person's comment. And I'm a manager of a movie theater. And traditionally, I'm paid well for what I do, but that's not a high income job, but it is a job that I enjoy, that I've been doing for 26 years. And hopefully anybody that has been in the same job for 26 years would be making at least like a, moderately decent income. And I can't complain. I do all right, and I can afford trips. And I want to help my viewers find ways to afford trips as well. I want to also say this. You guys know I've been hyping up Rakuten. I don't know why. Like, I tried to upload a thumbnail today. I tried to like update some of my description, and it's not quite working. I probably waited a little too long, too close to the live to do it. But so I've been hyping up Rakuten, which is the app that like I launch before I do some of my shopping, right? I bought compression socks before I went traveling because I was going to be on such a long flight. So I bought Bombas, which was like, it's an expensive sock, but it's a highly rated compression sock. And I launched Rakuten first. I got a discount for that. And while we were in Spain, I'm like, my timeline, I'm still not like recovered and used to being back. And like, we did a lot on the trip. So I'm like, where were we? When we were in Spain, we saw a flamenco show, and it was my friend Ryan's birthday. And how we kind of did everything is we were like, okay, there's 5 of us. So every big expense, like we'll rotate it in and out 5 times. So I got the flamenco show for all 5 of us. And I booked it through TripAdvisor, which somehow like links to Viator. But I checked on Rakuten first. I was like, I know I saw some sort of like discount somewhere for if I book a trip through TripAdvisor. And sure enough, on Rakuten, I got like 10% back. So I think I'm getting like $12.50 back. But like everything saved helps, right? So that was awesome. And Carrie, you're welcome. I'll let you know if anybody gets in touch. Okay. How did Madonna look and perform? Okay, so I got to talk about the seats and everything for a second. One of the reasons why I wanted to go with this group of friends is like I would describe him as a super fan. He always, whenever Madonna tours, he sees her in a foreign country. And I don't know why, but it's like way cheaper to go in a foreign country than it is to go here in the United States. So he always buys the VIP package. So we got the VIP package, which like includes like a lanyard and like a hat and a lithograph and a little like backpack thing and a good seat. Originally, we were in row J. There's like the floor seats, and I'm going to say floor seats aren't actually seats. That's standing room only. And I want to say that was maybe 5 people deep, okay, at least, but not more than like 7 people deep. But those people, they didn't even have seats. So they have to stand the whole time. And if you've ever stood at a concert, I'm short. I'm like 5'4.5", 5'5". So if you're standing room only and you're behind a tall person, like you can't see, even if you have floor seats, which are supposed to be good and expensive. But so we had row J, like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. So that's pretty close, right? On the like right behind, it goes the floor section and then like a little aisleway and then the section that we were in. And when we got there, there were people sitting in our seats. And we think that they spoke English, but we were in a foreign country, so we don't know for sure. And they were pretending that they didn't speak English. So like we got the security guard to help us, and um like they started to be like, "Oh, we don't know," like, "Oh, we don't know." And then one of the girls on the trip sees that the front row, row A, has like no one in it, and she looks at it and she's like, "Well, can we just go there?" And the security was just like, "Yeah, go ahead." And it was pretty much just us in that front row. It must be like that row must be reserved for like concert goers who have issues and like they need to be moved for whatever reason. Probably if people steal their seats or like whatever. Like when I worked at a slightly bigger movie theater, like we would sell out shows and we always had a way, like if there was an issue, like we had a couple seats set aside, um so that we could like fix those issues without it disrupting everybody. So I feel like that must be what this row was for. And so there were seats, there was no one sitting or really standing in front of us because it was the first row of seats. We were like raised above the floor people. There was a gate in front of where we were sitting slash we were standing the whole time and dancing. But we just had great seats and they were not like that expensive in comparison to like US money. Okay, now you asked about Madonna. She looked amazing, right? I guess she's 65. She had two of her kids come out during the show. She was on her feet for like 2 hours, 2.5 hours. Every song was the song that I knew. Every song was like a banger. She did every song that I wanted her to. The costumes were amazing. The like everything was amazing. She seemed high energy. If you watch on YouTube, like any of the footage, our seats were so close. Do you guys know what KT tape is? It's like physical therapy tape that kind of gives your muscles some support, and they do it in different patterns and everything. We were so close we could see the pattern of the KT tape on her knee. The night after the show that we were at, we noticed she had like maybe a compression sleeve or something on her knee. But like, I mean, she's running circles around me for sure, and she's 20 years older. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but in a lot of pictures, like Madonna has like a pretty angular face, right? But in a lot of pictures recently, she's looked kind of puffy. She didn't look puffy. She like looked like herself, whereas I feel like in the last couple pictures I've seen, like it's almost like a plastic surgery don't. But so all that puffiness was gone from her face. We were so close, like I saw her hair. I have a picture of it. Like her hair got stuck on one of her other dancers, and like I could see that her hair, like we were so close, and it was amazing. We were on the side, I will say that. Um, Everybody in my group, I think we dressed really well. My friend gave me an outfit assignment, so I recreated her look from the 2013 Met Gala. Um, I will say that like a lot of times even when she was dancing, you couldn't tell because it's choreographed well, but I do think that like she had a lot of energy and everything, but I could tell like I'm like, dang, I could see why like you hurt yourself like choreographing this because like it was a lot of choreography. It was intense. Um, but at the same time, there's some things where like I don't know. I mean, at 2 hours show, like it did seem like maybe like it was choreographed, but like people would be like holding her hand when she walked downstairs or like supporting and lifting her under her knee. So like, but at the same time, I could tell how she would like have injured herself planning this tour. It's 71, I want to say dates. I have them all listed on the back. My friends are like, oh, let's go again. But it's pretty much all sold out everywhere. Oh, what? Oh, okay. So this is interesting. Ready for the World said Madonna show was tragic. Wish she would have gone out on top. Plastic surgery is frightening, and she's openly hostile of younger, hotter women. Okay, so I don't know anything about her being openly hostile, but I will say that I just, without seeing your comment, I talked about how she had kind of like looked puffy and kind of weird in some pictures leading up to this. At my experience at the show, and we were pretty close. I feel like maybe some of those pictures were taken like really quickly after the healing process of some work she had done. She looked good and her face looked more angular, like the face that we're used to, and not that kind of like puffy, inflated face. Do I have it? Where's my phone? Hold on, let me see. Some of the pictures though that I took, I feel like came out blurry. This was the thumbnail I tried to use today, and it didn't work. It said it was too big. Like the file. So I don't know what happened there. But anyway, not here to look at me. We're here to look at Madonna. Ba, 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 ba. Oh my goodness, guys. Okay, we got to show you my outfit. I look weird. My friend's camera took that, and it's like a weird angle, but I wore like also it looks like I only have one leg in that. But that's my outfit. Like I had the black wig and everything. I feel like I look a little bit weird in that photo. This is all of us together. Okay, let's see. Hopefully they don't care that I shared that on social media, but anyway, whatever. Okay, let me try and find a picture of Miss Madonna's face. Okay, so you can't really see her here, but see how they're projecting it up on screen, and then this is what's actually done. And if I do still have to zoom in, and I realize that her face is totally hidden behind her hair in that, so let me keep trying to scroll. Maybe it looks a little puffy. Okay, I've got this blown up. But see how her face looks angular and normal again in that photo? Ooh, this is the section. That's where her hair gets stuck on her dancer. Her costumes were amazing. Like everything was amazing. Her dancers were amazing. All the songs she did were amazing. All my photos are like blurry because I was dancing. But if I zoom in there, see how you can see like you can even see the KT tape where I'm zooming in. It's the shiny part on her leg. And there's kind of like, for reference, there's the real her, and then she's on screen behind. Anyway, so it was cool. Very, very, very cool. Diana says, Shelly, I think you're a wise young lady. The knowledge you have at your age has taken some of us a lot longer to get. Thank you for saying that. And I feel like there's a lot of people who were younger that, okay, I'm going to, why is this? This is a weird comment. Okay, so anyway, let me now, and I don't want to brag, and I like that person was like, oh, you look like you can't afford trips. I'm really proud that I was able to go on this trip. And but I don't want to brag because I know that a lot of people are really struggling and really hurting right now. And I'm so fortunate that I was able to go on this trip and see the things that I did, and honestly just be with friends and see Madonna. And something that's like a big change in my life, right? From when I was younger till today is not only going to the concert, right? But being able to afford a t-shirt from the concert. I remember when I was little, we could not afford, well, first of all, my parents weren't taking me to any concerts. But like if we went to Disneyland or we went to the fair or anything like that, like we were not buying souvenirs. we really couldn't afford them. Like, we could afford to go and we could afford to have a good time and like have a bite to eat while we were there, but not all of that plus like an expensive souvenir. So to be able to like go to this concert with my friends and buy an official t-shirt with my own money, that's a big accomplishment for me, and I'm really grateful for where I am today. And I have not always made smart choices with money. When I was in my 20s, I initially won a trip to Hawaii, and I love Hawaii, and I loved it so much that I either put one or two more trips. I can't now. I don't even remember how many times I've been to Hawaii. Like, it's not like, "Oh, I've been to Hawaii so many times I don't remember." I've either been twice or I've been 3 times. And one of those times was definitely a trip paid for by my job. I think I've only been twice. Um, but the second time when I went, when I didn't win the trip, I didn't really have the money to go. I put that on a credit card, and I probably, on the one hand, I probably shouldn't have done that. On the other hand, I had a great time and I had experiences because of that. Truth be told, I probably, since I had the car repair come up right before this trip, I probably did spend a little bit more than I am really comfortable with, but at the same time, I made memories and I did it with like my friends who I've known since I was 13. So I couldn't ask for a better group of people to have done this trip with. And it's just places, Egypt especially. Okay, I'm going to tell you the order of things that I enjoyed. Number one, the Madonna concert, which was in Portugal. Number two was Egypt. So I had mentioned that we only spent one day there. We stayed at a hotel really close to the pyramids. So that was a little bit of a spendy spend hotel, but once in a lifetime trip, right? So we stayed at a hotel close to the pyramids. Then we paid for a tour guide that came with like a car to take. There were only 3 of us by this point at the Egypt portion. And we saw the pyramids and we saw the Sphinx. And then we went home to the hotel, showered, changed, went in the pool, which was heated. And then the driver, I kind of feel like that driver was like just waiting for us to do all those things. Then the same driver, so there was a driver and a tour guide. The driver was waiting for us. We booked a dinner cruise on the Nile that had like a belly dancer on it and some other, like a guy with like a big spinny skirt that lit up and looked like a mushroom. I don't know what that's called. It was pretty cool though. So we booked a dinner cruise on the Nile that night, and then the next morning we woke up. So we had a really full, wonderful day in Egypt. We rode a camel for like 5 minutes. I have a picture. It's really cute. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Where I keep telling people that my camel was really photogenic because I have a picture of me kissing the camel. Not exactly. Ooh, camel had bad breath. He's so cute though. Hold on. Let me show you my camel. Everybody's like, what's the camel's name? I did not ask. I was mostly telling the camel, like, please don't throw me off of you. Can you see my super? You can't. This is not going well, but let's see if I can turn. That's my camel. He's a good camel. He is. You can see his little eye looking right at the camera. My super photogenic camel. I love him. Okay. Oh, also felt completely safe in Egypt. I think we could have done our whole trip in Egypt. We didn't. But we felt completely safe there. It might have been, we arranged a ride from the airport to our hotel on booking.com, and just out of curiosity, I wonder if there is a Rakuten special for booking.com. So I'm going to first open that Rakuten app. I wish I could. And then I'm going to type in booking.com. Booking. Yep, booking.com. 4% back. So now my friend did this. So that's where you can see that there's booking.com. But he arranged a ride from booking.com from the airport to the hotel, and we used booking.com from the hotel back to the airport again. My mom loves the Camel Kiss. His breath was real smelly though, but I loved it. That's actually my second time on a camel. I'm gonna say that this time was actually better than the first time, but like you gotta really lean back on the camel while it stands up, and then like they have like somebody walking the camel. I was not on the camel for a long time. Yeah. So Bellevue says, sorry, I was viewing a portion of Madonna's concert from October 2023 in New York. She looks great, but I can see what you mean by needing assistance from her dancers. And it's choreographed well. Like, I feel like if I wouldn't have known that Madonna hurt herself before she started her tour, that I wouldn't have been like on the lookout for like how she was moving. She's 65. She's moving great. Like and I mean, did we just see the picture that I was showing you guys a second ago where she's like bending backwards upside down on this dancer? Hold on. She's sitting on top of a piano, but hold on. Okay, this is like the opening image from the show. I wish, like, I'm an idiot. I don't know how to do this. Okay, so here she's just really standing. That's the opening of the show. She's kind of sitting on something here. She sits a little bit. Hold on. She's on a chair again here. She's standing here in one of those things that like a box. This is not a good angle. So there's just a lot where she's kind of sitting, but then there's also like this whole section where she's like kneeling down on her knee right there. But she's straight up on like some guy's back right there. But her knee still, like, her back and her knee seem always like supported. Okay. Hi, Andrew. I haven't seen you in a long time. Okay, you were offered a new car and you denied it. No car payment. It's a luxury on its own, don't you think? Yes. Anytime you can pay for a car outright, that is a great decision and really wise. Okay. Ready for the World says, you deserve this treat. You have helped so many people during the unemployment, EDD crisis, and now the world has adjusted and it's time to live a bit. Thousands of us would have gone under without your help. Thank you so much for saying that. I really love helping people. I do want to recommit to making more actual videos in 2024, just kind of figuring things out. I also, guys, I had like a wonderful trip. But all four of my friends, they can walk. They're the same age, right? We all grew up together. They walk faster than I do. They're in better shape than I am. Like I was always kind of the last one in the group walking. I sort of felt like I was holding them back a little bit. Like they were always like waiting on me. And I really need to get back into going to the gym regularly, eating better. I'm not a spring chicken anymore, so I need to like take care of myself. I want to be able to I do want to be able to keep up with my friends, at least physically. I don't want to be holding them back. I will also say that they all have dogs. So I was like, do you guys like walk your dogs? Or do you guys just like open the back door and like let them out? And they both take their dogs on walks, both couples. So I feel like having a pet, especially a dog that you need to walk, like helps them stay in better shape. Like they have to walk even if they don't feel like it because they have to take their dog out. This is not to say that I'm going to get a pet. I don't think I can because I don't think I'm home long enough. But I think that like definitely the dogs are helping my friends be in better shape. Also, they just work out and eat better than I do in general, I think. Okay. Bella V says in New York, she's wearing a black compression sleeve on her knee. With her money, I would have thought she would use a nude sleeve. That's interesting because the Kate, yeah. So in the footage that I saw from the night after we went, she's also wearing a black compression sleeve. And that's interesting because the KT tape that she uses is nude. So you couldn't exactly tell unless you're sitting close. So that I wonder why she didn't use nude. Maybe it's not like a good match. Maybe she was worried that people would think her leg was chunky. She does wear a lot of black. So I don't know. But yeah, with her money, you would think that she could like custom make it. I will tell you that Portugal is very hilly, like up and down hills, and all the streets are cobblestone. And that was a number on my knee. And a lot of the places that we went were up and down stairs. So, Alex says, Madonna is my idol. I have her box set of all her albums from 1983 to 2008 and the albums after. Listening to her album, Erotica from 1993, it's so good. Yeah. Every song on, because it's the celebration tour, she's celebrating 4 decades of music. I was worried because I am going to admit that even though I went and I spent this money, it was partially to do it with my friend who's such a big Madonna fan, but also, like, I mean, I loved her and grew up with her also and like can sing a lot of her songs, but some of the stuff like after like music after that, like I like some of the brand new stuff I'm not as familiar with. So my friend usually looks up all the set list and everything to get familiar, but he's like, I didn't this year. I want it to be a complete surprise. Whereas I actually did look up the set list because I was worried that like there would be songs that I wouldn't know. And I wanted to make sure that if I did know them, that or if I didn't know the songs that I had time to listen to them and figure them out. But yeah, like I love her. Like growing up with like True Blue, La Isla Bonita, Like a Virgin, Material Girl, all of those, Erotica. I remember when that book came out. I don't have that book. I think my friend does have that book. And then all her different looks and everything. I think one year I don't think you can do this anymore, right? But I dressed up as a geisha. I probably did not represent it accurately. I don't think I would make that same choice knowing all the things that I know today. I dressed up as a geisha because like I thought that they were cool and wanted to pay tribute to them, not to like make fun of them or anything like that. But Madonna also has like she had that like geisha outfit in one of her videos and Vogue, like every song is like just so amazing. And they were all like her big hits, like her big hits. So there was not anything that I didn't know. And it was amazing. Okay. W says, a friend of mine was demonetized from YouTube for a community guideline strike. It is set to expire in 90 days, so hopefully he can monetize. Do I make a lot of money on YouTube? Not right now. Honestly, at this point, I'm making about $60 a month, and I'm still paying for some things. Like I pay for StreamYard, which is the streaming platform that I'm on right now that allows me to like post your comments on the screen while I'm responding. I pay for Canva to make thumbnails, even though like this whole year I probably haven't made any official thumbnails for my video. And then today I tried and it's saying that the file size is too big and I don't know why that is. So there are still some expenses that I have for YouTube, even though, and those this year, those expenses have been greater than the income that I've made. And so right now, I'm going to say it's between $60 on the low end to like 115 a month on the high end. It's still a lot of the unemployment videos that are the bulk of the money that I'm getting. And it's unfortunate because a lot of those are inaccurate at this point. Like I've had people ask me about getting unemployment extensions. And unfortunately, right now there's not an extension. So a lot of those are outdated. And I'm actually really torn if I should take those down. And the lives, sometimes I'll go live and I'll make like 72 cents. And that's fine. Like I like going live. I like the routine of it. It makes me feel like I haven't completely given up on the channel, but the lives are not like what's making me money. It's still the older videos, which tells me I need to make more videos. And I do have some ideas. I don't know what's up with me. Like I'll wake up and I just don't feel like it. I do think that I work a lot and I'm torn between wanting a side hustle and wanting the extra money that a side hustle will provide and wanting to have some sort of work-life balance. A lot of the people doing YouTube that are successful at it are doing so much. And it's almost like you do YouTube and then somebody even the other day asked me, Shelly, why don't you have like a t-shirt? And then it's like, okay, well, you learn to do YouTube and edit videos and make thumbnails and write descriptions and try not to like be a good storyteller and try not to use the word or so, like filler words. So there's an art to storytelling that you're supposed to learn. And then they tell you to add music under your videos for feeling. And then they tell you you need to be posting to Pinterest and you need to have Amazon affiliate links and you need to be posting on Instagram and you need to make TikToks and you need to make long form videos and you need to cut those up into short form content and you need to have a product and you need to have a website and a blog, blog. You need to do all these things and it becomes like really overwhelming. And I don't know how there would be any free time left over if you're doing all those things. So they say do YouTube because you enjoy it, right? And I enjoy going live on Sundays with you guys. I enjoy sharing budget tips that I have or my financial successes and my financial setbacks. I love it when someone says that I've helped them. And I love going live like on Thanksgiving if you guys don't have like family to be with and things like that. I like sitting in front of the camera and talking about my life. But when I went on a trip, I didn't take a lot of video. I wanted to live in the moment and preserve those memories in my mind. And I did take a fair amount of pictures. I haven't necessarily posted them to Instagram or Facebook or any of that because like they're for me. I will share some of them at some point, but I didn't want to be like working while I was on vacation. And I just didn't want to be that person that's like filming and like making my friends wait, be like, wait, I want to reshoot this, or, oh, I didn't say that right. Let me film it again. So I didn't take a lot of video when I was there. But I think that anybody who consistently makes videos, I have learned a lot of skills, I think, by doing YouTube. I've learned search engine optimization, SEO, and like how to look into the camera. I have improved the way I speak, I think. So there's a lot of skills that I've learned just by doing the YouTube channel, but you really do need to enjoy it so that it's more like a hobby and that it's fun versus work, at least when you're first starting out. And then at the height of my channel, though, I had a month where I think from YouTube I made like $9,000, and then I was working with Claimer, who calls the EDD for you. And from referrals, I want to say that that was like another $6,000. Like it was crazy there for a little while. But because the subject that I was talking about was related to the pandemic, now that thankfully the pandemic is mostly over, people are back to work, there's not as much need for that content anymore. So I still am in the process of shifting the content. Okay. W, did Madonna have trouble on stage dancing like she used to be able to? Because being 65, she might have her limits. She had KT tape, which is like I think it stands for kinesiology tape, on her knee for support on the night I went. And there is a lot of footage where some nights she wears like an entire compression sleeve on her knee. And definitely, like, there's a scene where she's sitting on a piano. Like, she sits or stands and a fair amount, but it's choreographed. It looks great. Like, the show's not boring, and you would never guess her to be 65 if you just saw the show fresh. But knowing that she injured herself before the show, I do think that you can tell that she is using like support of her dancers to strategically choreograph moves in a way that also supports her body at her age. But I mean, I thought she was great. Okay, Ben says, I like her 1993 album, Erotica. She also released, yeah, that's the coffee table book that I'm talking about. And it has very exposed pictures of her in it. And it's awesome. That's the book that I think my friends have. And I feel like there weren't even very many copies of that made. I want to say it was like something like 300. It must have been more. But yeah, that book was very controversial. That's back when she was like dating Dennis Rodman. Definitely loved that album. She did the song Bedtime Stories. She did Rain. She did Nothing Really Matters. She did Ray of Light. I kept listening to Where's the Party beforehand, but I'm not actually sure if she did that. But just like all the songs. And then she's got that new one that's like, why? Oh, you wanna. And then she like says her name, and I like lost. I'm like losing the lyrics, but that's a newer song and I love it. I don't know what it's called. Bella V is reminding everybody to please smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. I would really appreciate that. Alex says, I feel like to be monetized for YouTube, you literally have to follow the rules. It's kind of like selling out, but really isn't, as long as you don't upload violent or bad stuff. Yeah, and like, I try not to cuss in my live streams, and I cuss a fair amount in my home life. I probably shouldn't, right? It's not very ladylike or whatever. I feel like cuss words are filler words. They're not necessary to get your point across. But I swear a little bit, right? But I try not to do it on the YouTube channel because that can make them not necessarily demonetize you, but that might make you like, if you cuss, that means that the ads that they show in your videos, it's going to limit the advertisers. Like, you just don't want to limit yourself too much to advertisers. Yeah, thank you, MDNA. Album with that new track I just sang, it's her weakest of her modern era, in my opinion. Interesting. I like that song. So, but the whole tour was like just great songs. And I think she looked great and I think she moved great. But I also think that she made like responsible choices for her age. Yeah, and I think she looked great. Like, I cannot complain about that concert at all. It was really, really amazing. And I had a wonderful time. Okay, and then okay, so Egypt. So first the Madonna concert, I had a great time at. Then Egypt. It just like you can feel somehow like the age of the city, like the second you land. It has, like they were saying, like the pyramids were 2000 or 2500 years BC, before Christ. Like that's crazy how old those are and how long they've survived. And the Sphinx, I don't know, is obsessed with like its feet. Um, Even though it's had some damage, like it was still like amazing and powerful to be in that the presence of all those ancient like relics. It was just like it was really amazing and I loved it to be on the Nile, even though like it's totally like typical cheesy dinner cruise, but it's on the Nile. Like that's insane. I never thought that I would go there, but that was on my bucket list. I read a lot of Anne Rice when I was younger, and I feel like they had like a vampire that was like set in Egypt, and like I really really loved Egypt. Then I'm going to say that my then there was an area in Portugal called Sintra, and we went to like a palace called the Pina Palace, and then where the heck did we go in that morning? We went somewhere else and it was magical also, that in Sintra. Then we ate a really great, the food the whole time was amazing. We didn't have one bad meal. Nobody got like a bellyache or anything like that. We all caught a cold, not COVID. Um, but we all caught a cold. It like hit one of us and then the next and then the next and the next. I finally feel like I'm totally kicking it now. Then from Portugal, we spent a day in Sintra. So we spent her concert was in Lisbon. Then we visited Sintra for a day and we traveled just to some other sites in Portugal and Lisbon. From Lisbon, we went to Seville in Spain. It's all blending in a little bit. We saw a cathedral where Christopher Columbus's tomb is, and it's like just this huge beautiful cathedral. And we went to some ruins where I guess they filmed like Game of Thrones, and it's like an old Colosseum, like where supposedly like the humans battled like bears and lions and stuff. And so that's crazy to like see something that was used for that purpose like in person. You can just go walk around where they used to make humans fight animals. um then we went from Seville to Madrid. We went by train to get from Seville to Madrid. And in Madrid is the Prado Museum. And I like this painter called Hieronymus Bosch. And you can see his painting of the Garden of Earthly Delights on display. And I don't really remember a lot about that painting. It's like a crazy painting. It's almost like early surrealism. There's a lot going on in that painting, but to see it in person was amazing. And then not everybody went in the museum, but me and my friend are walking through and we see the Mona Lisa, but it's not the Mona Lisa, but it says Da Vinci. And I look at him and he looks at me and we're like, what is this? And I guess like back in that time, painters would be working on a painting and they had all these like art students basically like with them in the studio. So at the Prado Museum in Madrid is the first known copy of the Mona Lisa. And what they think is that Da Vinci was working on Da Vinci, right? Leonardo da Vinci, yes. Was working on the Mona Lisa, and he had a student in like probably multiple students also working on the same version or their own versions of the painting while he was also working on it. Because I guess in this copy, they like all the revisions are the same. So the Mona Lisa actually wears like a veil, but I guess he adjusted the veil and he adjusted the fingers. And so you can see all the revisions, like when they like x-ray it or whatever. Like whoever made this copy of the Mona Lisa was making the same revisions. So they think that that was happening like side by side, master and student. So there's like the Prado version of the Mona Lisa done by one of Da Vinci's students at the same time that he was also making the Mona Lisa. And then I'm still confused because apparently like he was working on 4 versions of the Mona Lisa at around the same time. So it's like it seems like it's possible that maybe he also did that. I don't know. I was confused, but like it's definitely the Mona Lisa. And if it wasn't Da Vinci that did it, it's like the earliest known copy from one of his students that did it. So that was amazing. And then I want to say it was called The Beheading of St. John. St. Joseph. Dang it. Hang on. Was another really cool painting. The beheading of St. John the Baptist. Not the Caravaggio version, but like this huge paneled version. That was a really cool painting. So we saw some cool art. We ate some good food, and then we went to Egypt. Oh, the single is good on MDNA. Yeah. And then Ben says, it sounds like an awesome trip. The good thing now is that our American dollar is worth a lot, so traveling abroad is pretty cheap in some countries. Yeah. Portugal, I'm going to say, was the cheapest, followed by... Portugal was the cheapest, and then honestly, Spain and Egypt, it was pretty similar to what you would spend here in the US. With Egypt, I'm not entirely sure if that's because we were staying at a kind of pricey hotel and we booked the tour guide through the hotel. So I feel like there was like a markup on that. And then we also ate for the most part. I think we only ate at the hotel and we ate at the Nile dinner cruise. And so like obviously a dinner cruise is going to be an inflated price. Especially since it's like super touristy to like do a 2-hour dinner cruise on the Nile. And then the hotel breakfast was like $30, I want to say. So $30 for breakfast is pretty pricey in my opinion, but for a hotel breakfast, maybe not. And then Spain, like we noticed that like our Uber rides were more expensive. I will say that like to get into the museum was about $15. And I guess like right before we went, like the dollar was really strong against the euro, but when we went, it had just kind of fallen. And so like $1 was only buying like 86 euros or something like that. I don't know. I tried for the most part not to worry too much about what I was going to spend and just spend what I needed to enjoy the trip. I mean, I didn't go too crazy or anything, but like we definitely did get Ubers. We definitely ate well. We definitely saw the things that we wanted to see, but we also just like spent a lot of time together. And like the Madonna tickets, that was a big thing that we did, but we had paid for those. So like, I think we got the Madonna tickets first, then we booked our flights to Portugal. Then we booked our flights home and we had booked our flights back from Cairo, and all of that was like last January, so almost a whole year ago. Hi Francis. Thank you. Okay, we have been streaming for about an hour, so thank you guys for listening about my trip. I'm going to try and post some sort of video together, or at least some more pictures. I'll at least try and share that picture of the camel kiss with you guys in a community post. Thank you guys so much for watching Shelly's Millions. I'm very glad to be back and be here streaming with you guys. I will go live on Thanksgiving. It'll probably either be like really early that day, like maybe 8 in the morning, or really late at night. And Debbie, we're going to have to make the little green guy give you a sad face because I do not know what's going on in the movie world at all. I know that the Marvel movie that just came out was like the worst one in a while. I don't know how it did at my theater. I'm still interested in seeing Priscilla. I'm interested in seeing The Holdovers, and I'm interested in seeing, it's like the prequel to the Hunger Games movies. I think that came out this week. So those are the three that I'm most interested in. I know that we've still got Killers of the Flower Moon. That one's really long, so make sure to buy snacks if you see that. And of course, we'll have some new movies opening this week, probably on Wednesday for Thanksgiving. But I've been out of touch, so I'm going to go to work tonight and I'll figure out what's going on in the land of movies. And thanks so much, you guys, for watching. I didn't. We had we don't have it anymore, Francis. You missed out. So we did have the Taylor Swift movie, but it's gone now. So it's after its first week, it didn't do very well for us. I mean, it did okay, but not like great. So I think we had it for 4 weeks and then it left. Okay, so it's not playing there anymore. Stop Making Sense, which is the Talking Heads documentary, did really well for us. But I also think that one finally has left our theater. All right, you guys, thanks so much for watching. I will actually see you this Thursday for Thanksgiving, so that you can confirm that my family is just as chaotic as your family, or if you're alone, you don't have to be. I don't know the time, so it'll be a surprise, but we will go live at some point on Thanksgiving. And thanks so much for watching Shelly's Millions. I'll see you next Sunday at 11 a.m. Oh, and if you're watching this video after the fact and you have finance topics that you want to talk about next week, leave them in the comments and we'll try and cover those things. All right. It's great to be back. Thank you guys for listening about my trip. I've really enjoyed sharing the details with you guys. And if you have a chance, see Madonna, because I loved it. All right. That's it.